Now, I would like to request to call our next speaker, Honorable Dr. David B. Wolf, sir. He has experience in diverse social and mental health services more than 35 years. In 1998, he started the Association for the Protection of Children, APC. He also studies and developed the Vedic Personality Inventory, VPI, a personality assessment tool based on Vedic psychology. He also a team successful seminars in more than a dozen countries, including India, Russia, New Zealand, Czech Republic, and so many Western Europe, North American countries. He has coached and counseled thousands of people, groups, and organizations. He has been featured as a communications expert in media outlets such as Fox News and CNN News. So, without taking so much time, now I would like to request Dr. David B. Wall to kindly present his views on the today's topic, that is communication based approach to wellness and self discovery. I am requesting Dr. Davis, sir.
Hello. Thank you, Samyak. Thanks for inviting me. Yes. Okay. You hearing me okay?
Yes, sir, you are
Yes.
audible and visible.
Very good. Yeah. Discovery. In 1951, Carl Rogers, the well-known psychologist, the developer of the person-centered approach to therapy, in 1951, Carl Rogers, he gave a talk at a major psychology conference in the United States. And he started his talk talking to psychotherapists. He started his talk by saying that, he said, well, it might be strange to you, because his talk was about communication. He said, it might be strange, it might seem strange why someone like myself, very interested in psychotherapy, why would we talk about communication? What is the connection between communication and psychotherapy? And then he gave his talk. So for me, that's very meaningful. It's very impactful. Because just the fact that Carl Rogers would feel a need to say that to the group of esteemed leaders in the field of psychotherapy. I know myself for about 40 years now, in different capacities. I'm involved a lot in training psychotherapists, training counselors, training transformational coaches. And practically the main thing we do in training is guiding the coaches, the therapists, psychotherapists, the counselors, training them to cultivate expertise in communication. And more than that, supporting them, training them, challenging them to cultivate mastery, to be able to train their clients in excellence in communication. So as far as well-being, therapy, healing, growth, it's so intimately connected with communication, based on my experience. And we can see that the state of psychiatry, psychology, back in its early days, that was like a foreign concept, because the main tools, still in some respects, and certainly then, the main tools of psychotherapy were like analysis, interpretation, diagnosis. Of course, that's still going on. So, an abundance of research has shown, for many decades, since at least the 1940s, abundance of research has shown that there's dozens, even hundreds of types of counseling, psychotherapy, coaching, behavioral approaches, Gestalt approaches, family approaches, rational emotive, transactional, Freudian dream analysis. So naturally, researchers over the decades have invested immense effort, time, money, tens of millions of dollars to find out what sort of approach, what sort of approach works best to help people to solve their problems, to feel better. So what the research has found is that the type of therapy or counseling the practitioner is practicing really does not matter. It really doesn't correlate positively with auspicious results. And that can be an unsettling research finding for many who are attached to, we should do it this way. But what the research found is that what does matter is what sometimes we call it the wedge principle. Wedge is an acronym, W-E-G, the wedge principle. W stands for warmth, E, empathy, G, genuineness. So that whether the practitioner is practicing behavioral approaches or reality therapy or humanistic approaches or whatever, to the extent that the practitioner, whether it's coach, counselor, grandmother, friend, because these are essential qualities of all human beings, to the extent that the practitioner has the qualities of warmth, empathy, and genuineness, the therapy, the coaching, the counseling will be highly effective. Warmth, being able to experience and to communicate a genuine caring for the person. Empathy, not sympathy, empathy, being able to truly understand the world from someone else's perspective. Understand, of course, doesn't mean I agree. There's an important distinction between understanding and agreement. Empathy, so understanding the world from someone else's perspective. What's their worldview? What's their paradigm? What are they feeling? What are they thinking? And empathy also means being able to communicate that I understand. Like if I get that you understand, you're feeling embarrassed, you're feeling sad, I'm able to communicate that with care. And G in the wedge principle, W-E-G, G stands for genuineness. Genuineness means I'm being a genuine, authentic person. I'm not hiding behind any role. Certainly, I might be playing a role. Maybe I'm in the role of senior executive in an organization, or I'm in the role of parent. This one's in the role of teenager. I'm in the role of counselor. You're in the role of client. We might be in roles, but we're not hiding our humanity behind a role. So to the extent that these qualities are alive and present, then the therapy is effective. Now, what do we mean by effective? I'll say effective in supporting the process of self-realization, supporting the process for the self to turn towards itself in self-discovery, the self to realize life purpose, the self to turn towards the supreme, the absolute, in a spirit of devotion. And actually there's a lot of research that have shown that many of the very traditional tools of psychotherapy, like diagnosis, analysis, interpretation, evaluation, many of those tools tend to shut down the process of exploration, whereas the wedge principle, warmth, empathy, genuineness, in whatever role we're playing, tends to open up the process of self-exploration. And this is important. It's important because, well, why? Because that this capacity for self-awareness, the capacity of that irreducible quantum of consciousness that inhabits the body, that animates the body, to engage in self-awareness, to ask questions like, what is the purpose of my life? Who am I? Then this is distinctively human. This is distinctively human. It's a distinction of the human species of life. And to the extent that process of self-discovery, self-awareness. You have a string of zeros. Let's say I have 10, 20, 30 zeros. What's the value? The value, of course, is 0. The 1 is aliveness in that process of self-discovery. I'll call it the process of yoga. Yoga, like the English word yoke, comes from the Sanskrit yoga. So actual yoga means to connect. And in its essential form, the self connecting with itself, and in self-discovery. That's actual yoga. And so we might say, kind of what the theme of my talk here is the yoga of communication, how to support ourselves and how to support others to connect with ourselves. That's the essence of yoga. Yeah, that's the essence of yoga. And so research has shown, confirmed by my personal experience, going back way to the 1970s. I first became involved in human potential movement way back in the late 70s. That to the extent that we possess and we're cultivating excellence in the qualities of warmth, empathy, and genuineness, then we're going to support each other in that most sublime purpose of human life, self-discovery, self-realization. And a basic principle is that when the self, again, that atomic unit of sentience, to give a quick exercise or example, imagine you're looking at a photo of yourself from when you were 5 years old. Imagine you're looking at a photo of yourself from when you were 5 years old. Now, when you look at that photo, do you say, who is this person? Who is this stranger? No. I say, oh, that's David when I was 5. That's Samyak when I was 5. That's Padma, that's Abai when I was 5. Now, of course, we know from chemistry that there's not one molecule, not one atom in your body now that was there when you were 5. We can say the body has grown. Really, though, that's not true. The body it's completely changed. There's not one molecule the same. Still, there's some constant identity that I call David. You call Raksha. You call when the caretakers have higher empathy, then there's less burnout, whether it's nurses, doctors, family members, quicker recovery. So connected with wellness, self-discovery, and so sometimes understanding is compared to life air. Like if I get the air knocked out of me, and I can barely breathe. Let's say you offer me a bag of money. It won't matter. I just need breath. Let's say you offer me my favorite meal. Let's say you offer me praise. You tell me what a great guy I am. It won't matter. All I want is air. Similarly, especially in emotionally charged situations around hurt, anger, hostility, bitterness, resentment, sometimes all we want is to be understood. And that's what other people. Understanding doesn't mean agreement. It doesn't mean saying I'm right. It doesn't mean praise. Doesn't mean good advice. It doesn't mean arguing. Sometimes all we want is to be understood. And so George Bernard Shaw said, the single greatest difficulty with communication is the illusion that it has taken place. It's a powerful statement from my point of view. The single greatest difficulty with communication is the illusion that it's taken place. To the extent that I'm connected with empathy, warmth, genuineness, then before I share my point of view, I'm going to check out. I'm going to see, have I understood you correctly? I'm going to check out my decoding to see, has communication actually taken place? Has communication actually taken place? In our Safitov courses, we sometimes refer to, we use the term roadblocks to effective communication. A roadblock could be something like prematurely or inappropriately giving advice, or praising, or judging, or analyzing, or putting you into a box, a category. And so we can look at, okay, why do I put up roadblocks to communication? Perhaps I'll quickly praise or reassure you at the expense of understanding your pain, your hurt, your fear. Maybe, and I think, oh, I'm telling you it'll be okay. I'm telling you you're a great person. And I think, oh, I'm serving you. But really I'm serving my own need, my own fear, because I'm not comfortable with that intensity of emotion, that intensity of hurt, pain, rage, shame in myself. And I'm not comfortable with it in you. So I'll try to divert that with a maybe a nice sounding, flowery roadblock to communication. Or maybe I want you to see me as your best friend. And so I'll roadblock you with trying to give solutions or advice at the expense of supporting you to connect with your distinctive realizations. If I use my skills to support you to connect with your own realizations, solutions, you're much more likely to own it, commit to it, take it into your life and make it work than if I give it to you. And even if I give it to you, maybe my idea, because my trust is that each of you, each of us are the experts in our life. And so my role with clients or coach trainees or psychotherapy, my role is not to be the expert in your life. I know I'm not the expert in your life. My role is to facilitate you to connect with the highest guidance within. That's a communication-based approach to wellness and self-discovery. I trust you as the expert in your life. And my role is to facilitate you to cleanse the dirt off the diamond, to connect with that highest guidance within. So far, and we're coming to a close in our talk, we've really only focused on, let's call it, the listening side of communication. Of course, there's also the expression, the assertiveness side. Research has shown that the people with the strongest, clearest boundaries are the most compassionate, loving people. And that might be surprising. We might think, well, if I'm really compassionate and loving, it means I'll just give and give and give. But no, because sometimes if we're giving, then we feel depleted. And then in the name of giving, we're feeling resentful. And then we're not really good. We're not of much good to anyone. So persons who know the art and the science of sattvic communication, assertiveness, the yoga of communication, I know how to take care, to attend to self-care, so that my boundaries are clear. Choose to give, I choose to enter your world. I'm giving cleanly and enthusiastically, not from a place of being a martyr or feeling resentful. So sometimes we use this term, the yoga of communication. So this you might say this is transformation through sound vibration. Certain types of sound vibration facilitate the self to turn towards itself in bodily awareness. Certain types of sound vibration tend to alienate the self from itself and from the supreme. In my PhD dissertation back in the 90s, my PhD dissertation it's entitled "Effects of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra on Stress, Depression, and the Three Gunas." And so according to in alignment with rigorous methods of social science, we study the effects of mantra. Like the English word mind comes from the Sanskrit mantra. Tra means to free, to deliver, to extricate. And so a true mantra is sound vibration that cleanses the diamond, of the heart. That a true mantra reveals truth, and a true mantra and the vibration of the revealed, a true mantra reveals truth, and the vibration of a true mantra is identical with the truth that it reveals. That's powerful. That's powerful. And so, so that for me, that's also an essential aspect of a sound vibration approach to self-discovery and wellness. It's described in the Upanishads, Iti Shoda Shakam Namna, Kali Kalma Shanashanam. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. It's described that this mantra, called the Maha Mantra, composed of 16 words and 32 syllables, is especially powerful for self-realization, to support that irreducible quantum consciousness, to realize that I'm not matter. I am eternal, joyful spirit. So this mantra, the Maha Mantra, is especially powerful for this age, and so, okay, there's so many places we can go, and so I could certainly share more. At the same time, I'm not sure what the timing is. If there's any comments or questions, I'm glad to discuss or respond to them. However we best like to use this time. Hare Krishna, thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for providing your knowledge. You quoted George Bernard Shaw very much and joined that quote with the humanity very well. There is a question, I want to take it in our chat box. Padam sir has asked, sir, as body changes completely, does our mind too changes completely, or it remains the same?
Okay, I'm looking for the chat box. I think I don't know how to, here's the chat box, I think. Yeah, there we go. Good, I found it. All right, so the question is, as body changes completely, does our mind too change completely, or it remains the same? Oh, thank you. Thanks for that. Yeah, well, we can use an analogy. We can use an analogy like a computer. There's a computer hardware, and that's like the gross physical body. Then there's computer software, and that represents the subtle material body, mind, intelligence, and ahankara, or false ego. So we're not the hardware, and we're not the software. We're the operator of the computer. So it's described. Yam yam vapi smran bhavam tyajatante kalevram tam tam eveti kontia sadatad bhava bhavita. That whatever's the state of our subtle body at the time of leaving the gross body, then the subtle body, mind is the main part of the subtle body. Then the spirit soul remains encased in the subtle body. And then according to our consciousness, the subtle body carries the soul. Shariram yadavapnyoti yachchapyut kramadishram Greek Vetani Samiti Bhayurgandani Vashyat to the next body. So the subtle body remains. At the same time, the contents of the subtle body change. Like I could be focused on this internet article, then I could be focused on one of my relationships where the contents change. But the energy that is the mind, that remains until the soul is completely spiritualized, completely enlightened in pure devotional service to the ultimate. and then the subtle body itself becomes spiritualized too. I hope that's a relevant response. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yes.
Again, providing your valuable time for the second time. I also request you kindly brief a short
Yeah.
about the books you have published, and anyone who wants to know more information about your institute, kindly provide links in chat box.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Okay.
Now, thank
So
you. Now it's time to conclude our today's session with the divine chants of
thank
Bhagavad
you,
Gita.
Sami.
In Bhagavad Gita, it is said that the Gita adhyan shilasya pranayam parascha naiv santi papani purv janma kritani cha. And at the last chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, in 18th chapter, Lord Krishna is saying to Arjuna that left all the worries to me and work without desire of any result. Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sarnam vraja aham tvam sarvapapebhyo mokshasham masucha. So with these divine feelings or with unconditional surrender to ultimate consciousness, now we have to end up our today's session and pray Lord to bring happiness to each creature on this earth. Thank you so much, sir, again for your kind presentation, valuable time, and amazing knowledge. Now we have performed Shanti part and end up our today's session. Thank you so much, sir. Now sit straight, take a deep breath, and we should perform the Shanti. Before it, we have chant one time along with sir the Maha Mantra Hare Krishna and Hare Rama. Then we perform Shanti part. So I request David sir to with us chant the Maha Mantra. Then we perform Shanti part.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Thank you. Om Dev Shanti Antariksha. Var Shanti Sat 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 आप सभी का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. Thank you everyone who joined us today's session through Google Meet, Facebook Live or YouTube Live. Tomorrow we will again meet at the same time. Tomorrow is our last day of International Mental Health Week, so I am requesting you all to kindly present at 4 p.m. according to Indian Standard Timeline. Thank you so much providing your valuable time, and I pray to Lord with the feelings of Atithi Devo Bhava. So kindly join.